Hey, look what we have found. A big sound in a small town, far away from the bright lights. They're making music every night. Discover what is all around. A big sound, a big sound in a small town. Big sound, small town. A really big sound. Big sound, small town.
You're listening to Big Sound, Small Town with Sandy Carlton.
Hi, and welcome to Big Sound, Small Town. I'm your host, Sandy Carlton, and this is a podcast about the lives and stories of the musicians, writers, artists, and their associates that have their roots in the small towns and communities across America. If you like what you hear, tell somebody. Enjoy.
Some man come from New Orleans, crazy about them greens and greens. I don't get them 3 times a day. I get mad and I walk away. But tell me, sure was good there. Eat them all of them. Soft and easy, good and greasy. I love them. Talk about them. Way down south where I was born, red good greens and corn, sweet potato, black-eyed peas, green tomatoes, man, pecan tree. But then, sure was good there. Eat them all of them. Soft and easy, good and greasy. I love them. Talk about them. Saving them for somebody else. We was eating, baby, I'll be gone. And I won't know that we slipped them on. Sure was good then. Eat them all of them. Soft and easy, good and greasy. I love them. This that meat must be fat. Greens, greasy like that. Can't use no natural lean, but you sure enough cook some good greens. Sure was good there. But eat them all of them. Soft and easy, good and greasy. I love them. Talk about it.
Hey, my name's Freddie Vanderford. I'm from Buffalo, South Carolina. Good to be here. Good to see y'all.
Good to have you here today. Freddie, that's mighty fine playing there now.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
I saw him. All right, since we're on harmonicas, I'm going to ask you, what kind of harmonicas do you use?
Special 20.
Special
Horner.
20, a Horner.
That's what I like. I've used them all. I mean,
Yeah.
sidles, I like them. And, you know, I've got a few Lee Oscars and the minor tunings and the lower octaves and, you know, all that stuff that I'd use in the studio that I wouldn't use normally playing live,
Right,
you know. But I got them. But
I like the Special 20 too.
I like the Special 20. That's the weapon of choice.
I understand that. Well, you get away from, I'm sure when you started, they were all wood combs.
Yeah, I used to use Marine Band. And,
Marine Band.
I have used the old standby when I first got started. You know, get them for $250.
You know, after an evening when the wood would swell up, man, it tear your lips up at the end of the evening.
And
Wouldn't
have to get that razor blade and trim them down. Yeah, I'm sure you've done that.
I have, but people don't know that don't play harmonica. You know,
Say they got the wood comb now that don't do that.
That's true, they do.
I don't know what they did to it. They put some kind of chemical on it that I'm good with that plastic comb.
Yeah, me too. Because we don't know what they put on that.
Yeah, we know what that is.
Yeah, we know what that is. Yeah. So, all right, is harmonica where you started, or where did you start?
I started off on guitar. Like I said earlier, I started playing shows, you know, when I was 9 years old, and played the school cafeterias and gyms and auditoriums at the elementary school and, you know, high schools and things like that. And this is back when Arthur Smith had a show coming on TV, and I really wanted to get on there. I never did get to be on his show. I got to meet him and sit in his office and talk to him one time, but I did do Bob Ledford's show out of Asheville
I remember
a few
that
times.
Show,
And I did Farmer Gray out of Spartanburg, WSPA. But that WLOS in Asheville, we thought we were doing good when we finally got on there, because, you know, you only had 3 TV stations back then that you could get, the ABC, CBS, and NBC affiliates. There wasn't even no Fox or anything like that. So you had to watch one of the 3. And Saturday, 7 p.m., that's pretty good time to be on TV. You know, when you're 9 or 10 years old, especially, you know, any time's good. But you know, that was the prime time, felt like. And of course, it was taped. And when they showed the thing, you go back to school, and everybody said, "I saw you on TV," or something like that, and it make you feel kind of good, you know.
Yeah, I do. There used to be a thing out of Charlotte called Kilgo's Canteen, and that was one of the things I couldn't wait when I was pretty young to be on. And I finally did get on it, but you know, I didn't think I would ever get there.
Right.
You know, but it makes a difference when you're young. That keeps you doing it.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, something like that. So you were doing that all before you were even a teenager.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Before the Beatles came to this country, I was playing shows.
That's what kind of stuff? You remember what it was, or is it?
Country songs, and I'll tell you a funny little thing. I did one of my main songs, I'll say, was a song called Wolverton Mountain that was written by Merle Kilgore.
Right.
Later on in life, after I moved to Nashville and everything, I met Merle Kilgore, and we became friends, and I told him about that, and I mean, he was cracking up. He couldn't believe it. I mean, we were friends. I'd give him a ride to the airport and all this kind of stuff. And he was playing with Hank Jr.
Hank Jr. at the time.
And one time I was on a show, and I had this little band, and he needed a band, and this was in Spartanburg County. And so anyway, we were Merle Kilgore's backup band, and you know, we're just good friends and stuff like that. And then he became Hank's manager.
Right.
And he got him that Monday Night Football deal.
Yeah.
And,
that's a bomb
then,
of a job.
then Hank blew it some kind of way, and you know, that's another story.
True.
But Merle, he was a good guy, and you know, he was super busy when he took that management job for Junior.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And but anytime I'd call that office, he'd always take my phone call, and if he was busy, he'd say, "Is this Freddie? Is this personal or business?"
Right.
And if it was personal, We couldn't talk but a second.
Right.
You know, but he always took the call,
That's
and I
great.
never will forget that. He was a good guy.
I like to hear stories like that. You
Yeah,
know,
he's a great guy.
I like hearing those better than the other ones. You can tell sometimes. You know.
Yep.
That's great.
But
'Cause
now,
I've never met the man, but I know who he is. You
oh
know?
yeah, he's good as gold.
That's great. It's
Or he
great to
was.
know. Yeah, it
And
was.
then, but you know, growing up, my grandfather played harmonica, and so I heard it my whole life. I mean,
Right.
you know, he played the mountain songs and
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know, and I liked it and everything like that. And then time I got to high school, I heard some people playing blues.
Yeah.
I got about the 8th, 9th grade, something like that.
Right.
And by the time I turned 16, or when I was 16, I met Peg Leg Sam, and you know, I could already play blues and stuff
Right.
like that, bend notes and everything. And Peg wouldn't play for me at first. He made me play for him.
Right.
And then back and forth, coming out there, you know, then we got to be friends and all that stuff. And sometimes it wouldn't even be about playing harmonica. We'd be watching wrestling or basketball or something on TV, and then the harmonicas came out.
Right. All right. Tell him who Peg Leg was. So
Peg Leg Sam was an old medicine show performer. Played the Newport Folk Festival and, you know, big shows like that later on in life. But his main thing was playing with Chief Thundercloud's medicine show. And the thing was, Chief Thundercloud, he was a Indian, real Indian, and his name was Leo Cadotte, and he sold this snake oil and things like that that they had back then. Well, Peg's job was to draw a crowd, and they, you know, sometimes it would be on the street, some little town in North Carolina or whatever. Sometimes they'd go up by the tobacco barns when they were selling the tobacco crop,
Sure.
and things like that. And later on, it was, you know, carnivals and stuff.
Yeah.
But Peg had his. He was a great comedian too. I mean, he had all kind of little monologues, and him and the Chief would work back and forth, and you know, working off each other. You know, the straight man and
Right,
the
yeah.
funny guy and all that. It was but he was a.
That's cool.
He was a crazy guy. You know, but, I was very fortunate, very blessed to get to hang out with him.
That is really good. Yeah, that's a really good one there.
I named my first solo CD. I've always been a band person, you know,
Right.
but my first solo one, I did a song called Greasy Greens
Yeah.
that I learned from him. And that was one of his signature songs, and it later became one of mine.
Right.
And so I named that record after him. In fact, there's a little small picture of him
Oh, that's too cool. Yeah.
on that record. I felt like I should do that, you know, and I got the guy doing the graphics. I mean, I don't do, you know,
Right, yeah.
somebody else does it, you know, about, I wish I could do it.
I wish I could too, man. I can do what I can do in graphics, and not one of them.
Now, I know what you mean. Now, I still play guitar and sing, but, you know, I just play rhythm guitar, you
Right.
know. I might hit a lick here and there, but
Yeah.
I got great guitar players that play with me, so there's no point in me having to
Exactly.
do it, you know. If it's just like the duo, Brandon Turner and myself,
Sure.
I just play the rhythm, and so he can stretch out and do whatever he needs
And
to do. He
Brandon
don't
can
have to play
stretch
lead
out.
and rhythm all at the same time.
Right.
And if I'm playing harp, that's what he has to do.
Right.
And singing, you know.
Well, Brandon can stretch too, buddy.
Oh yeah, he can do it.
He's fine.
He's a great player. We had a pretty good time last night playing with old Bill Cruz.
I saw a picture of you and Brandon last night playing. Yeah.
Now, it was a different type of music than what we normally play, but I think that makes you a better musician
Oh.
to stretch out there and do something that's not what you normally do.
I agree.
And
totally.
I'm gonna do some acting gigs here and there, and a lot of times I might be doing some of these music that you might hear kind of on Broadway or something like
Right.
that, you know, and that's another stretch for me too.
Sure.
It's hard, but
Yeah.
but I appreciate the challenge and them giving me the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool too. That is actually part of the reason they let me run this out of the Earl Scruggs Center, because Earl Scruggs, he encompassed just about every kind of music you could think of, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of ties in too. He stretched his stuff, you know, just like you've stretched yours, and I think that's how you grow as a musician.
I think so too. I used to love to see Earl when he'd get that big guitar. I forget now what kind it was, but it looked like it had 2 pick guards on it. And he put his ear down on top of it while he was picking. You ever notice? Remember him doing that?
I have seen that. I have. That's really cool.
Yeah. See, when I was coming up, my daddy was in the military, so I stayed a lot with my grandparents and my aunts and stuff like that out in the country. Still out in the country,
right.
But they would have the Wilburn Brothers, Flatt and Scruggs, Porter Wagner, all those shows like that. That was on at my granddaddy's house on Saturday.
Right.
That was on the TV, the one TV.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had to listen to all that. Didn't have to, but I mean, I was playing,
Right.
So I mean, it was good to hear that. Then I could go about a football field and a half down this little dirt, pretty much like a path, because wasn't any cars down there.
Right.
A black family lived down there. That was some of my best friends. We all played together and stuff like that. Well, that's where I first got to hear B.B. King and Sam Cooke and people like that. So I'd be down there on Saturday and listen to that, come back up to my granddaddy's house, listen to Flatt and Scruggs and Wilburn Brothers, stuff like that. So that's got me to where, I do blues and I do mainly outlaw country and a little bit of kind of bluegrassy kind of stuff, So that's why I'm as crazy as I am, because I listen to all that stuff.
Sure, I mean,
still do.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I grew up to where the only radio station I could get was a blues station. And that's what I wanted to do when I grew up, was to be a blues player.
Yeah.
I wasn't even certain that those people were black or white, because I couldn't see them. It didn't matter. This is the only station I could get. So, a lot of people could get WSM or, something like that. Not me. The only thing I could get was a blues radio station out of Memphis.
Okay.
So, which will give you, it gave me a wonderful blues upbringing.
That's great.
So, but I think it is. I think musicians, what they hear early on, influences them, to what they do for the rest of their time. Or if you just listen to one thing, I think that's all you ever play is that one thing.
But it'll shape you from the time you're little. Like you say, you're 9, 10 years old, and you listen to all this stuff. It don't go away.
No, I don't think it does.
You got it locked in there. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
You remember stuff like when you're a little kid. I couldn't tell you what I had to eat last night sometimes, but I could tell you stuff from a long time ago.
Oh yeah, I can remember lyrics from when I was young. Sometimes I can write a song today, tomorrow, I can't even remember the words, but I can remember something I learned when I was 10, 12, 14 years old.
Call up hundreds of songs and don't even drop a line or nothing.
Right.
And then one that you've been working hard on, then all of a sudden you say, wait a minute.
Yep. Amen. I can do that. I mean, I do that a lot. So, all right. So what happens? You're a kid, you're playing shows around a little bit. Did you decide that's what you wanted to do? I mean.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I went to school.
Yeah.
I went to Carolina.
Yep.
And I say I went to Carolina, and I was playing in a band, rock and roll band, and, playing guitar, a little bit of harmonica. Couldn't play much harmonica and thing, but there was a few songs that they needed harmonica, so that got me the gig, know, and I could sing, and I was back and forth working for Hit Attractions out of Charlotte.
Yeah.
And they'd have you in Tuscaloosa one night. They'd have you in Chapel Hill the next night. They didn't care.
Ted Hall, right. I worked for him too.
Ted Hall, Harvey, all them guys, I worked hard for them.
They didn't do good with logistics, man, because they'd ride you by one town, turn you around, bring you back to it the next night.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they didn't work that out too good. But they'd book you solid, that's for sure.
They keep you working.
They keep you working. Those days are gone when you had booking agents like that.
Getting that van with them guys and go. I mean, what else you have to do besides go to school? I mean, what else did you have to do?
Right.
Back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Times were crazy, but different.
Different. Yeah. Oh yeah. Less pressure.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool.
And I was with a band, and I don't mind giving my age away. Back in 1974, there was a band called Mountain Ash. We were working for Hit Attractions then, and we were blessed to win the National Battle of the Bands.
Oh, that's cool.
And they had it. We were the only band from South Carolina to ever win the first place in the national competition.
Wow.
And still there
Still
hadn't been another one to do it. So
that's great.
That was a good thing.
Where was that band out of?
Union.
Union.
I was living in Columbia, still
Right.
going to school, doing crazy stuff with crazy people and crazy bands and just that, being the Columbia guy,
Right.
Well, those guys had won the state competition, and they only had a certain amount of days to make a personnel change, and you had to be a certain age, couldn't be over 21,
Right.
and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, they called me down there in Columbia, and they said, "Will you come up here and play with us for this thing?" I thought about what I was doing and what I wasn't doing, and I said, "Yeah, I can do that." I came up there and rehearsed with them till we got the thing, and fortunate enough to win it.
Do you remember where you had to go, and can you remember about it?
Yep, the old Greenville Memorial Auditorium.
Okay, yes.
They had it in South Carolina, and a lot of people thought it was bad because the South Carolina band won it, but it never happened before.
Right.
It still hadn't, but that's where it was.
That's pretty cool.
It was
I
fun.
mean, that is really cool. So then did that band stay together a while? And
Nah,
see, that's just bands, I know.
you know how it is.
Yeah, I do.
They had all these dreams of this and that, and recording contracts and all this kind of stuff. And next thing you know,
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
it went like that. And
Yeah, I do.
77, I moved to Nashville.
Okay.
Stayed up there a couple of years. Came back.
Yeah, I did my time there too.
It was weird.
It's
I was mainly doing demos. I never did a master the whole time I was up there. I was doing demos, but I was getting by doing that, and very fortunate to get to work for Jack Clement.
Oh yeah, Cowboy.
Got to work at that house on Belmont that everybody went to down in the basement. They had that 24-track studio down there, and I was a regular.
No, that's cool. That's
coming
cool
in there at night, and Jack, he was nice to me. He probably couldn't have called my name,
Right,
but he
yeah.
knew who I was,
Right.
the harmonica guy, and invited me to a birthday party at his ex-wife, at a Chinese place. And I got invited, so I went.
Right.
And you might see him running around the house playing a trombone.
That's crazy.
Just he was that kind of guy. He might be playing a mandolin. He might be walking around through the house with a trombone. I'll never forget that.
That's wild.
It's just that I was comfortable around him. He
Right.
just made everybody feel like he knew you whether he did or not.
Right,
He
yeah.
acted like he did.
That's cool. I mean, that's really cool. That's yeah, Nashville's different. You're around a lot of musicians, and you go there, and nearly everybody's a musician.
Oh
It's
yeah, the
just a
guy that
different
brings
lifestyle.
you food to you is a musician. He can probably play better than you can.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. You make a big deal of it if you get to jam with some people here, but almost every day, everywhere, you can play all the music you want to there,
Oh yeah.
with people better than you ever thought people could play,
Oh yeah.
So, however, it's
That,
a hard place to stay around.
It is. Now that Greasy Greens record, we did that. That was back in 2010. That was another good year for me. I was blessed to get the South Carolina Folk Heritage Award.
Oh, that is really cool. Tell us about that. Just while we're on that,
Okay.
go with that.
Played at the State House in front of the General Assembly, on the floor of the State House with
Yeah.
the real the real people that run the show are.
Exactly.
And I did the Greasy Green song. Brandon was with me. We did that, and that they had a little reception at McKissick Museum, which is at Carolina on the Horseshoe, the night before, and then they did the thing at the State House the next day. So that was good, and so that's why we decided to go ahead and come out with the Greasy Greens record.
Yeah.
After I got that recognition, and we recorded that one all analog.
Where did you do that at?
Circle X. That's Matthew Knights. He's on all three of these records with
Right.
me. Great engineer, guitar player, singer, writer, just a great artist all the way around. He can do a lot of stuff. And it was his rig, the analog machine, and he had some of these German microphones, these old German microphones he borrowed from this guy in Atlanta. We couldn't rent them or nothing, but he knew people that owed him favors and whatnot, So anyway, we had access to them for a while.
That's great.
And we did that one all analog. So when we got ready to mix it, we went to Ricky Skaggs' place up there to mix it because he had the best facilities to do that. Tell you another good part about Ricky's studio. You probably know this from living up there, but before Ricky owned it, the Oak Ridge Boys had it.
They did.
And before the Oak Ridge Boys had it, Roy Orbison had it. So there's a lot of good vibes coming from a lot of good vibes in that building itself.
Oh yeah, that is really cool. That is really cool. So what happens then?
Excuse me?
So all right, we won the award. We've recorded the Greasy Greens CD.
Just played around all over the place and all that kind of stuff.
You stayed in Union County, pretty much.
Yeah, that's my home base. I've lived all over the place: Atlanta, Alabama, Virginia, Nashville, but I always came back to Buffalo, South Carolina.
That's cool.
Now I left one thing out. Back in the '90s, I was playing with Pink Anderson's son,
Little Pink.
Alvin, Little Pink Anderson. I talk to him all the time. He's in South Dakota now.
I was going to ask you about him.
Less than a week ago, it was snowing out there. And I said, it's 75 here. I'm sitting out on the porch. But anyway, we did this thing. We did 13 episodes for NPR. That was a lot of fun.
Now, who all was involved in that?
Me and him, and this storyteller by the name of Lorraine Johnson Coleman.
Okay.
And we toured, pushing that. She had a book out.
Right.
I forget the name of it. Something about the stories from the porch or front porch or something like that. But anyway, she would do her thing. We'd be like in Minnesota or whatever, and we at the University of Minnesota is where we stayed, and she would do her little thing, telling these stories about her family and whatnot.
Right.
And then she'd give it to me and Pink, and we'd play a few songs, and then she'd go back at it. We'd do a few more songs, and that's the way it went. But
cool.
It was like you always dreamed it would be. They flew you everywhere, and like Minneapolis in January, it's a great town, but it's cold, man.
January,
it'd
be cold. Yeah.
Real cold. But somebody with a warm car would be waiting for you at the airport, take you to where you had to stay, and it was always 4 or 5 star hotels. I mean, really, really nice. Didn't have to pay for nothing unless you wanted to drink a beer or something.
Right,
Then you had to pay for that. But your food, if I needed a harmonica or something like that, it was all covered. And we got paid good money. And Springfield, Missouri, that's where I got my Route 66.
Oh yeah.
Wherever it is.
I see it right there. Yeah,
But
that's cool.
Springfield, Missouri, played Florida, Michigan, just all over the place.
Just you and Pink and her?
And her, yeah.
That's a pretty cool gig.
Yeah, it was. And usually she'd meet us, like in Philly or whatever. She'd have ladies that worked in her office that traveled with her and stuff like that. And then me and him, we flew together.
Right. So,
and they'd usually get there before us.
So how did that happen? I mean, how did you come across that?
Okay. Well, Pink, I was doing a thing for Claire DeLune. She had a radio show at WUSC. She's been a good friend of mine for 40-something years, College of Journalism and all that at Carolina. But anyway, she had a blues history class, and she'd get people to come and play. Well, myself and Ray Brewington, another great guitar player, a friend of mine, he's still living. Anyway, we were doing that show, that blues history class, and she said, I got somebody I want you to meet. She knows all my history about Peg and all that. Well, this is Pink Anderson's son. Yeah. And I never got to meet Pink. But Peg and Pink, they did a lot of stuff together. So Alvin and I, Little Pink, we started playing, doing a few little things here and there and whatnot. And
Because he's living in Spartanburg then, or somewhere near
yeah,
there,
he's
right?
living in Spartanburg.
Yeah.
And we put a little thing together called the Legacy Duo. And back then, it wasn't even a CD. It come out on a cassette.
Oh yeah.
You know, it was sold cassettes.
Right.
But anyway, we did that and recorded NPR episodes at South Carolina ETV.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
And so we were doing this blues festival in Camden,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy, he was a producer, and he had heard us play, so he hooked us up with Lorraine, the storyteller.
Right.
And she liked what we did, and so that's how we got to do the NPR 13 episodes. And then she was a go-getter, you know, to get that book deal and all that stuff. So when she got everything lined up, she got the tour together, and it went from there.
That's cool. I mean, that's one of the coolest
Till
things.
it played out, you know. It always plays out.
Everything plays out.
That's right.
Still, but it's great to be part of the play though. Till
That's
it does.
it. That's it.
That's a good one there, man. That's an excellent one.
So that was before I got the Folk Heritage Award.
Oh, that was before. I was wondering where.
Yeah, I jumped back in time on you.
Yeah, but that's cool.
That was back in the '90s, and Pink and I, like I say, we talk on the phone to this day, so there's no bad blood or anything like that. It's just, you know, things change, something like that.
Yeah, I do.
So Brandon Turner, he came to work with me in 1999, so that's 21 years ago. He wasn't but 19 years old.
Yeah, he had to be young then, didn't he?
19 years old. Been with me ever since. And so everything else that I'm recording is Brandon.
Okay, that's
He's
cool.
on everything I do.
Well, Brandon's a fabulous musician. I have
He
to get
is.
him up here sometime too.
Yeah.
He's married now too, isn't he? I mean, it's his wife.
He's got 3 kids.
His wife's a musician, right?
Right.
Yep, that's what I thought. So,
But one of them kids is less than a year old.
really,
Mm-hmm. He got 3 of them.
wow, that's good. I mean,
He's doing good.
that's good. That's real good.
But this COVID just makes it tough on everybody. That, you know, our job is to get a whole crowd of people in a place, and now you can't do that. You got to be 50% social distancing, and I'm glad of it because I don't want to catch that stuff.
No,
You know, I want to play, but I don't want to be
I
crazy
agree.
and stupid about it.
I agree. I know a lot of people who taken a really hard hit. You know, I mean, from it. You know, I mean, I'm fortunate and I got some stuff on the side, but a lot of people don't. You know,
Right.
I know a lot of professional musicians that's actually had to get jobs. You know,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
that's it's hard,
It really is.
but hopefully it'll get better. So what you got planned for coming up? I mean, what's the future?
Well, I got Shady's in Union every Tuesday night, and I played last night and played the previous week with the Millbilly 3,
Yeah.
and I got something coming up, a few things coming up in December, and that's about it, except very, very blessed to still have the Shady's thing,
Right.
and I do some of this virtual stuff and lessons and,
Right.
you know, this, that, and the other.
You got
Just
any-
trying to hang in there.
I understand. Man, you got a great story. I mean, it's definitely one of a kind because you got your foot in several different music styles.
Yeah, I try to keep the ear open for everything going on. I like a lot of the newer country people. I don't guess they're new now. I like Sturgill Simpson.
Oh, I love Sturgill.
I like this guy Tyler Childers.
I like Tyler.
I like him a lot.
You do listen.
And some of the newer blues guys, this guy out of Texas, they got a cool name, Black Joe Lewis and the Honey Drippers.
I agree. That's a cool name. Yeah. They're
The
good.
Honey Bears. The Honey Bears. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're good. They're good too.
And there's a young guy there out of Austin,
yeah.
and they got some good stuff. He's got one song called $5 that I really like. I listen to the blues channel pretty much constantly. Because subliminally, if it plays enough, you know, it's down at a low volume, but it plays all night.
Right.
At my house. I mean, when I go to sleep with that on.
Oh yeah.
And it's just low volume. And so when I hear a song that maybe I've never heard before, a lot of times I'm able to just go in there and play it without having to think about it.
Yeah.
Because it just keeps pumping in my head all the time.
That makes me feel good that you're an older musician with an open mind for new music. That's kind of rare too, you know.
I think you got to keep it open or you get stale.
You do. You do.
You get stale and grumpy and set in your ways and all that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I don't listen a lot to. I don't listen to a lot of rap, but I do know a little bit about it.
Sure.
You know.
See, that's cool. I mean, that's what I love to hear that out of musicians. You know, I have people come in and haven't listened to anything new since the 60s.
Right.
And believe that the best music ever made was made then. Yeah, there's good music made there, no doubt, but there's been good music made for a while now.
There's good music made today, right now.
I agree.
You just got to hunt for it.
And I'll tell you, this is something I've really come to learn. It was kind of the whole basis of the show. I totally believe the best music in America is being made in the small towns around America.
I agree with that.
You know, guys like you, guys like me, you know.
They got less distractions.
Well, we've been to the places that you do it, but we're back playing the real stuff.
That's true.
I had a hard time taking myself through the CMAs the other night, but I tried to watch a little of it. But you know, I think they just forget about the musicians that are out there playing and doing it for all the right reasons.
Right. Well, I fell out just like a lot of other people did when they didn't mention John Prine or Billy Joe Shaver or Jerry Jeff Walker. I just posted a picture of me and Billy Joe from just a couple of years ago.
Sure.
He just one of the nicest guys. He's another one of these guys. I mean, he make you feel like he's known you all his life, and he might have met you 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, I agree.
Just a great guy.
Yeah, you see, and those guys like that, they don't ever get the dues they really need. I'm a Todd Snyder fan, and man, nobody.
I like Todd Snyder.
Todd gets no recognition for stuff like that, and you know, they're all great music.
But why couldn't they mention John Prine, Jerry Jeff, and Billy Joe? Just
I don't know.
That quick. Just mention them.
You know, one of the things I noticed the other night, and you'll get a kick out of this too, is I know several of those people. One of them said, "Well, I got to thank my songwriting team." You think Billy Joe Shaver ever had a songwriting team? he might punch you over that if you thought he had a songwriting team. I mean, or as far as that goes, John Prine, yeah, he wasn't out co-writing with a bunch of people.
That's true.
You know, or Jerry Jeff Walker. I mean, you know, those guys are real writers.
That's right.
Real musicians. So it's a shame that it's that way.
But talking about the rap guys, been a few years ago, there was this guy, I call him a kid, but you know, grown.
Yeah.
He came to me to one of my shows and asked me about doing. He knew what I played,
right?
My style of music and everything. Would I be interested in going to the studio with him and doing some kind of rap blues kind of deal? I said, yeah, that sounds interesting to me. I'm all about it. And we never did get to do it. He's deceased now, but might be somebody else that wants to do that.
True.
I hope so. I would like to try it.
I love that. I love that attitude. I've had, you know, I've sought out for this show as much diversity as I could find in music styles. Mm-hmm. And there's some talented people around. I'm telling you, there's some talented people around here.
Right.
South Carolina, upstate South Carolina is loaded with them.
I'll tell you one good spot. I mean, I like where I live and all that, and Spartanburg and Greenville and everything, right. But up around Pickens,
yeah, man,
that's a hotbed of young folks. Really? They got that young Appalachian music thing,
right,
for yam. And I know some of my friends, they play the old style, not really bluegrass, but that old time music.
Yeah.
And then there's these kids, I'm saying junior high,
right,
and high school, playing upright bass. They're playing clawhammer banjo and
That's
mandolin
fabulous.
and fiddles, and some of them can just flat out go. I mean, at a young age. So that just really makes me feel good that young people are not just playing video games and
Right.
listening to whatever comes on the radio or the TV on the mainstream stuff. They're out there searching for the old style, and they're playing it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I will tell you, before you guys got here today, their Scruggs Center offers a chance for young people to come up and play. They have kind of, it's not really a workshop, but they lay out a bunch of instruments and they let you tinker with them. I mean, they'll let you, and there's somebody here to help you with them. And that's how you keep music going, and that's how that's how
right.
you develop a music community.
That's right.
Shelby's a huge musical community. If you go in the alley beside that Newgrass Brewing over there, there's a Earl Scruggs painted on it. If you go by the music store that's here, Shelby Music, Don Gibson's painted on the side over there. I mean, this stoplight out here has a guitar. I mean, this is a music community here, but it's because they've worked at it. They've made musicians feel wanted and appreciated. And a lot of times towns don't do that. I mean, it's pretty big, almost brotherhood of musicians here. And everybody, for the most part, supports each other,
That's a wonderful thing. As we were walking up to the Scruggs Center, there was a young man sitting out there on the thing playing his guitar.
Sure.
Had his guitar case. He was just sitting there playing, and
They
that's
have
a good thing.
no problem with buskers here either, which a lot of towns, I mean, a lot
I
of
think
towns
that's a wonderful
run
thing.
them off, but that's great to have buskers.
Yeah.
I mean, Asheville's full of them, but we have several here, and it varies, but that's a good thing for a community.
And it's a beautiful day for it, too.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I know you had a long drive up here, but this is one of the most interesting conversations I had in a long time.
Well, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you having me. I really do.
I really appreciate you coming. This was great. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Thank you. Come see us.
All right, we will.
She lived downtown, used to be my baby, but she put me down. She can cook good salad, she can cook good salad, she can cook good salad, she can cook good turnip greens. The way she cook them, they can't be beat. Put a ham bone in them and they season sweet. She can cook good salad, she can cook good salad, she can cook good salad, she can cook good turnip greens. She wears her dress up above her knees. She can cook good salad and black-eyed peas. She can cook good salad, she can cook good salad, she can cook good salad, she can cook good turnip greens. Saturday night, my money was not wasted. Tell you boys, it was out of sight, the best I ever tasted. Good for misery in your back, good for corns and bunion. I said, honey, that sure was good. She said, Fred, I know my onion. She can cook good salad, she can cook good salad, she can cook good salad, she can cook good turnip greens. Bow-legged man in the house last night, folks, this ain't no fake. He walked in the house and stayed 2 minutes and he come out walking straight. I tell you, she can cook good salad, she can cook good salad, she can cook good salad, she can cook good turnip greens. Makes no difference who you are or where that you come from. She'll meet you out on the street at night and try to give you some. I tell you, she can cook good salad, She can cook good salad. She can cook good salad. She can cook good turnip greens.